From Pagosa Springs, Colorado, this is Pagosa Springs Fox News, your satirical news source, with today's anchor, Brighton Early. Good evening, I am Brighton Early, and today we have for you a new feature segment called The Royal Screw. In Archuleta County, there have been some heated discussions and accusations over a controversial deal that two of the county commissioners allegedly tried to work out with an outgoing commissioner and his nonprofit organization. For more on this deal, let's go to Helen Back, our Pagosa Springs Fox News field reporter.
Thanks, Brighton. This incident heated up when locals got word that the Board of County Commissioners, referred to locally as the BOCC, were going to hold a special meeting on January 25th to consider a lease agreement that would lease 5 county-owned acres located on Hot Springs Boulevard, which is across from the town hall, to the Pavilion, which is a music-oriented nonprofit. They're going to lease this for $1 per year for 10 years. According to local and as well as news sources we interviewed, very few, if any, had heard about this proposal. According to local sources, who alleged that over several months leading up to this announcement of this special meeting, the outgoing county commissioners met secretly in executive sessions with 2 other commissioners and the county attorney to negotiate a lease of county property. According to the same sources, the BOCC had never held an open public hearing to discuss this lease. On Tuesday, January 25th, a large crowd descended on the county courthouse and filled the BOCC's meeting room. It filled it with so many they spilled out into the hallway, where they listened to one of the Pavilion board members who spoke in favor of the lease, noting the need for a venue significantly large enough to host events like Music in the Mountains. The board member added that the group had plans for the property that included 400 to 500 seats and a large stage, noting that the inexpensive lease would allow the group to raise funds for scholarships and philanthropic endeavors, as well as allowing them to raise funds for a permanent facility on purchased land. At this point, the newly elected commissioner took the floor and said he felt that the lease negotiations had been going on just under the radar, and that he felt he hadn't heard enough feedback from the community, and then made a motion to table this item until February the 8th, so the public could provide feedback on the proposal as well as the contract. The floor was then open to public comments. There were numerous citizens speaking out against the deal, including a highly respected court judge. A local businessman, who is also chairman of the town tourism committee, took issue with the BOCC's method of working on the lease under the radar and the outgoing commissioner's involvement with the Pavilion group, saying, "If this doesn't reek of conflict of interest, what does?" One of the commissioners denied that we were trying to do backdoor deals and pleaded with the audience to talk to your commissioner about the lease. Several people I talked to since said they have emailed this commissioner and never received any acknowledgement or response.
Helen, did you get any area local reaction on this proposed deal after it was presented?
Yes, and here's what some of the locals had to say.
It appears to me this project is a model of standard backdoor good old boy politics.
I am skeptical about this deal for 3 reasons. First, the conflict of interest at the start between the outgoing commissioner, at the time a city commissioner, and his wife who runs the Pavilion nonprofit. Second, the lack of transparency in the process of putting the deal together. And third, the false sense of urgency to get this deal done before proper due diligence. If this deal has merits, the commissioners would welcome the light of day and be willing to take adequate time to ensure that this good deal for the taxpayers.
I am in favor of the lease. With Bootjack Ranch unavailable, we no longer have a venue large enough to host many Music of the Mountains concerts, especially orchestra events, which are by far the local audience's favorite. Pagosa classical music lovers now travel to Durango for such events, taking their restaurant dollars with them and depriving us of opportunities to raise scholarship money for our talented local music students.
I see the Pavilion project as complementing both what is already in place and new ventures that are on the horizon. Just like I see the Pagosa Center for the Arts as complementary to Pagosa Springs Arts Council, I see the Pavilion as being complementary to these organizations as well. No organization is capable of providing everything, and the more opportunities we create to bring visitors to our town, the better it will be for all of us.
Some of the controversy over the Pavilion lease could have been avoided if our elected officials more carefully observed the open meetings law. One of the commissioners needs to recuse himself from the whole lease agreement deal for the following reasons. Number one, he is on the CDC board, thus had to be involved in assuring the Pavilion and the CDC that the lease was a sure thing. 2. The CDC is a key part or has interest in this deal being done, per statements made by the CDC Executive Director. 3. The CDC leases its offices from him. 4. The CDC employs his daughter as the marketing director. He is too close to this and has personal ties and stakes in it, and therefore should not have been nor should be involved, as there is a possibility he could gain personally from the deal.
When the BOCC reconvened on February the 8th, the Pavilion chair requested the lease deal be pulled and not voted on. The Pavilion will continue to follow our vision, but we will take a different path. She said that the group had been offered 2 pieces of private property, one downtown and another in the Pagosa Lakes area. The crowd was pleased with the outcome. However, the repercussions of this deal and the way it was handled will linger for a while. Back to you, Brighton.
Thank you, Helen. We are now joined by our political analyst, Joy Keel. Welcome, Joy.
Thank you, Brighton. This is an interesting situation there in Archuleta County. There appear to be several big issues: transparency, appearance of conflict of interest, and a lack of communication. If the county commissioners had been more open and less secret about this deal, most of the confrontations that have taken place in the press and at the meetings may have been avoided. The deal may have been good for the community. However, when it takes place in what appears to be private, secret meetings, it raises red flags. To compound this, apparently before the January 25th meeting, the passing of the deal had already been decided. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have had the Pagosa Springs Community Development Corporation, commonly referred to as the CDC. Their executive director was quoted in the paper as saying, "We committed to the venue. We had planned for this lease to occur. We told everybody that it was going to occur." This leads to the potential for conflicts of interest. Besides the obvious potential being the outgoing commissioner's involvement in the deal process, there's also potential conflict with one of the sitting commissioners. As one of the citizens in Helen's piece alluded to, there is a commissioner who is one of the CDC's board of directors. He owns the building the CDC is located in. His daughter works for the CDC, and as per the statements made by the CDC executive director, the CDC is a key part of this deal or has interest in this deal being done. It may have been wise for him to recuse himself from this deal. Keep in mind, one of the most important things to emphasize about recusal is that recusal at a meeting is not enough. Recusal is supposed to mean withdrawal from involvement in any aspect of a matter where an official has a conflict of interest. Recusal at a meeting is only withdrawal from the public part of a matter. If the official continues to be involved with the matter behind the scenes, it is, in some ways, worse than ignoring a conflict of interest in the public, because then no one knows the official is acting despite a conflict. In fact, it gives the impression that the official is dealing responsibly with his or her conflict, when in fact this is not the case. Communication on this or other controversial issues appear to be lacking with the county commissioners. If you look at their county website, you will find as of today there have been no BOCC minutes posted for the current quarter. Other commissions, such as the Planning and Airport Commissions, have published minutes for this year. Also, when the BOCC publishes notices about scheduled meetings, there is a difference in tone of the meetings that are controversial versus issues that are less controversial. For example, here's one of the less controversial postings on the county website. The Greenway team will be presenting a draft of the design for the Town to Lakes Trail on Wednesday, February the 2nd, 6 p.m. at the courthouse. Everyone is invited to attend this public meeting. Reading this, the public has a good idea of what this meeting is about. Now, here is how a controversial meeting notice about the lease deal reads. The lease agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and the Pavilion at Pagosa Springs is available. Click the lease agreement to view. A special meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, February the 8th, 3 p.m. at the courthouse. Notice that this one did not state the purpose of the meeting, nor was it a cordial like the other meeting notice, inviting everyone to attend, nor did it state, if you have any questions or want to provide input, please email the county commissioners. Honestly, timely open communications and transparency is going to be key to these commissioners winning back the trust of the community. It is important that you are true to your word and you are working for the good of all the people. The two commissioners involved in the deal from the beginning had these statements after they were sworn in. I look forward to bringing back trust and respect to the BOCC. I think what you're going to see from this group is professionalism, the ability to disagree with each other and still move forward, and transparency. I really look forward to this aspect of the job. We need you more than anybody, speaking to the public. We need the community to help us accomplish what I think are some great goals and great objectives. As you can see, Brighton, things worked out in the end, but a lot of anger and distrust was a result. It will be interesting to see if these commissioners repair the damage so the community and government can work together for a common vision and goal.
Thank you, Joy. Don't think we can really hold these commissioners to these statements they made at their swearing in. Just look at this photo taken at a different angle. Guess they knew there would be a chance that they would not live up to their statements. Wow, can you just imagine what George Washington would say about this whole ordeal?
Shame on you two! You were elected to make reasonable decisions for the best, for the greatest number of the people you represent. Do you think this kind of devious deal making is what the good people had in mind when they elected you to office? Then you have the audacity to chastise these same citizens by accusing them of demonizing your former comrade and his spouse. It was you that caused all the anger, distrust, and anxiety within the community. Take ownership of your missteps. Do not pass on the good to the good people you are supposed to represent. Nothing productive will come from it. Remember, this is the taxpayers' assets and money, not yours. Therefore, treat it as such. Do you think money just falls from the sky? You have finite resources, thus you need to be better stewards, overseeing the people's funds and investments. You can rationalize this all you like. Bottom line is you weighed your ex-colleagues' wants and opinion above that of the majority of the community.
This is bright and early saying goodbye and thank you to all our listeners. We will see you soon.